What's up, everyone? Matt back for another real review, and today I got to talk about one of Cleveland's own, and that's Director Steven Caple Jr.'s. Well, they're back. The Robots in Disguise, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. I'll say this: the Transformers movies and I have a very complicated relationship. I absolutely love the first one. I adore the first one. That was my first real introduction into Transformers, and I had so much fun with it. Then the other four in the main Transformers line happened, and while I've watched 2 and 3 on occasion, and I have not really enjoyed the others. I remember the last time I saw an actual mainline Transformers. So it was Transformers the last night, and I went and see it in theaters with Connor Breedlove of this channel and my father, and I ended up leaving with a migraine because of how often it flipped between full screen, thematic screen, full screen, thematic, and it just, because it was shot on IMAX cameras and just the constant shifting, you felt like you were getting a headache, and I had no fun with it whatsoever. However, then we got Bumblebee by Travis Knight, son of Phil Knight, the founder of Nike, who had done films such as Kubo and the Two Strings, and we kind of got a soft reset of this franchise, not those films, but this franchise. And Bumblebee, out of the 6 Transformers films at the time, is arguably my favorite. There's no doubt about it. I had so much fun. Haley Steinfeld is fantastic in it. The opening felt like the Transformers film we had been waiting for, and it just gave us so much. So when we got to this, Transformers: Rise of the Beast, and it's a continuation of that Bumblebee reset, I guess is the way to put it. I had a lot more fun with it this time than I did with this film than I did any other Transformers sequel. Is it perfect? By no means. Is it the most fun? No, that title is still held by the first Transformers film. However, it definitely, when it comes time to do so, goes ball to the wall, goofy, fun, silly, and provides one of the more heartfelt entries of this series, as well as setting up some big things in the future. Anthony Ramos is Anthony Ramos. He's fantastic, even if this is some CGI, just paycheck film for him. He is just so cool and funny, and that's charm and wit is kind of what draws you to him as an actor, and what draws you to his character Noah in this film, who is a discharged military member who's had to go through a lot just because his brother's sick and he needs to help take care of him, and he needs to help provide for his family. And times get tough, and when you're in New York, when times get tough, sometimes you go into a life of crime or try to commit a crime. That's kind of where this film takes its jumping off point, because Noah is going in there to steal a car that just so happens to be a Transformer. And that's where we meet Mirage, voiced by Pete Davidson, who, by golly, between Bubkiss, Fast X, and now this, I might be turning into a Pete Davidson fan, because Pete Davidson as Mirage was one of the standouts of this film. I was laughing. It feels like he was made to be a Transformer. There's a lot of bold choices here, but Pete was probably one of the boldest. Let's be honest. He's a really embattled actor. And when you decide to include someone of his history, I guess is the best way to put it, it could go multiple ways. And I really actually had a ton of fun with him. I was shocked. He had me laughing a few times. He's like Bumblebee to a certain point of view. He's got that, but with a little bit of extra bounce, and just unlike B, he actually talks. So the interactions you get between him and Anthony Ramos, while Pete Davidson's doing this in a voiceover box, are actually really funny and cool. And I really did have a ton of fun with it. Peter Cullen is Peter Cullen. You can't. There's like no way you can knock Peter Cullen. He's been doing Optimus for years. Michelle Yeoh as Arizor, one of the Maximals. She was really cool. But there's a few voices that some other fans might recognize. Not as well, but like Ron Perlman joins the voice cast as Optimus Primal. On a smaller scale, people who love Ted Lasso will probably notice Cristo Fernandez. Scourge is voiced by Peter Dinklage, but the biggest voice in this to me, and one I thought was just really well cast, and I can't wait to see the remainder of the films, because they've kind of announced this Transformers is kind of the start of a new trilogy, and at the center of that trilogy is Coleman Domingo as Unicron, and Coleman Domingo as Unicron, probably voice wise, one of the best choices you could have gone with, considering you don't have Orson Welles around anymore, who voiced Unicron in the 80s animated film. So I just really, I'm excited for the future of this franchise or franchises. Stick around in the theater and find out why. But yeah, I really want you guys to let me know what you think in the comments and just have fun with this. If I'm going to give this film a rating, it's not a perfect film. It's fun. It's a popcorn flick. It's 3.25 out of 5. I just had a lot of fun. It's the Transformers films are their own thing. They're not perfect. We know what they are. They're there to put asses in seats and for you to sit there, escape for a couple hours, and see things blow up. So I will say that I did feel like this had the best third act of any Transformers film that there is. I liked where it took place. I liked that it wasn't just robots being thrown against buildings. It felt like that first scene of Bumblebee more, and you'll see why. I don't want to explain why, because it might give away some plot details. So, new Transformers film, what do you think? I want to know. Let me know in the comments. Remember to like, subscribe, and follow. And also, later today, be sure to check out my review for The Flash. That's right, DC's The Flash. I saw that. My review will be up in roughly 3 hours by the time you've seen this. So be sure to check that out also. And until then, signing off, I'm Matt, and this was another Real Review. Have a good one.